This is Prey, a brand new entry in the Predator series. Be sure to like the video, subscribing is great as well, and if you'd like to see more movie reviews, be sure to let me know. So this is a prequel and or origins to the Predator series. It very much is on brand with the franchise, but is by far the best entry since the original with Arnold back in the day. So this one, you gotta really think of it as not necessarily being a Predator movie, until that moment comes when it is definitely a bit of a Predator movie. It's really cool. So the story follows Naru, Amber Midthunder is the actress there, on this journey where she is part of there's like a Comanche Nation tribe about 300 years ago at the current point in time of filming is when this is set. So it does definitely take place quite a bit before any of the other content within the Predator universe, at least that we know of thus far. So it follows her and her dog, and also a little bit of her tribe, or the people that she's close to within this tribe. You will see that she kind of struggles with wanting to be taken more seriously as one of the hunters of the group, and this is very much a journey and a struggle for her to kind of become a bigger part of this, kind of group, really get that kind of focus, that self-desire, and that level of growth that she is working towards so that she can become, a primary hunter of this group, be taken seriously, because you definitely see some levels of jealousy. Now, she's very smart, she's very cunning, and I think that's very interesting within this movie, because you have a being like the Predator who's deadly, who's intense, and they're not silly with it. This isn't like, oh, some younger woman is going toe-to-toe with a Predator. You get to see many moments where everyone is terrified of this monstrosity. So let's go back a little bit further. So this movie is a bit of a slow burn when it opens up, but it's very important in how it tells its storytelling. And I think this is really, really great, because it foreshadows, while at the same time not making you think it's actually doing that, in so many different ways as she learns different tactics, different maneuvers, and studies things within her environment. And you get to see all of the dangers of this time period, minus the Predator. There's more dangerous things out there. There are bears, there are some odd cats here or there. There are other people other than her tribe. It's not a safe time period, but she's determined to make her way in this world. And I will say it was a crime that this movie was not played in theaters. It's gorgeous. From what I understand, it's actually filmed around where I live, which is awesome, because I was like, wow, that, some of those areas, I was like, huh, kind of looks around, and then I looked it up online, I was like, oh wow, no, it's actually filmed around here, at least from what I understand primarily, and I think that's just really quite fascinating, again, Canada-wise. So, just seeing that, and it's gorgeous cinematography, it's beautiful, it's very kind of like emotive in the feeling of this woman kind of traveling, because it's again a slower moment at the beginning as it's her and her dog kind of going around doing some hunting, doing some exploration, discovering things, and I think that was really, really neat, and again sets the stage later on for when you see the Predator kind of enter the scene. If you're familiar with the Predator movies, these are dangerous hunters that really look for a challenge, and that's what they're doing out here. There's just one, that's it, but this is a very deadly, confident Predator character. A monstrosity. You get to see this thing take down big creatures, until eventually it comes across something that it sees as a bit more of an equal. And there are some things that I'm keeping a little hidden in the story too, because I'd like you to be surprised. And you may think, oh, it's like one gal, and it's like, one Predator. But no, you get to see some of her tribe, and there are some other factions at play too. And if you're worrying, oh, maybe they're going to shy away from things, no, this is brutal, visceral, violent, really gory, and it hits the mark perfectly when it needs to as a Predator film. I was like, wow, this is great. But I was really into it at the beginning. I was like, okay, cool, setting the stage. It's a neat character. How is she going to take on this Predator? That was the first thing that always came to mind, is like, how does Naru take on this Predator? And you get to see her kind of training with different tactics. And when they start to encounter things, because they don't really believe that there's this otherworldly being out there, and she's kind of like, oh, this is a little weird. They start to see some signs, some things that don't look right. And that's really interesting, is because she kind of, as soon as there is that meeting, that connection, you get these glimpses into what the predator is doing, and she begins to use those as a way and of a cunning, I would say, clever strategy to figure out how do you deal with this thing. And you may think, oh, in the first encounter, at the end of this or whatever, she finishes this creature off. No, no, no. There are many, many encounters where she is terrified, where other people are terrified, or confused, or don't understand. You know, we see Predator films kind of set closer to our age. You know, you kind of be like, oh, it's futuristic, it's weird, you know, but, you know, to these people, bows and arrows and like, you know, you maybe have some like guns at the time, right? Like really old gunpowder, like flintlock type things, right? You would have at that period of time. And, you know, and then especially from her perspective, it's like, you know, they know of traps, they know of other things, but they use like, you know, basically like tomahawks and bows and arrows. And then you've got this thing that is somehow tracking you and you don't understand it. And it does seem like they kind of de-leveled some things of the Predator, but all of the signature tools and gear of the Predator is at full use here. You can definitely rest easy. Even if you think the beginning of the movie is slow, trust me, stick with it. You will be more than satisfied with this film. I loved it. I thought it was great. It was a lot of fun. The action was good. The slow burn was good. You care about the characters. Midthunder there, great performance. She absolutely led the film well. It felt realistic and natural. It felt like you were actually in this time period and actually seeing how these individuals would react to this being. And it's very rare that you get a film that feels grounded and actually does a timepiece, a period in time, correctly. And you feel as though, this is well matched, this is well set, she's not overly powerful against this thing. She's terrified of it most of the film. It's like, what is this thing? And you see the Predator and its weight within the environment. Now, I will say some of the CGI was not the best for the animals that were present, because there are a couple of large animal scenes, and there was like a scene in a tree with an animal, which was kind of a little silly, very, very silly, but the Predator looked great. The work on that character was spectacular. The painting and art and body aesthetics of the tribal group was fantastic. I loved how that was handled. You know, that connection to it being kind of shot around where I am is really neat as well. It was a good film. It was enjoyable. I think it's definitely worth watching. It was great. That was genuinely the thing. It's great. Is it like a perfect film? Not necessarily. You know, there's some points here or there with pacing could have been a bit quicker, a bit faster, but I thought it was great. Visually stunning, enjoyable, good amount of action, a good amount of emotion, well done storytelling, good characters, and it gets me excited about the Predator franchise again because the series has been a bit rough for a while, and there might be some nods here or there. But I would say definitely check Prey out, and if you can somehow do it, watch it in a theater, because it'll be a way better experience. It was almost wasted at home. Anyways, be sure to like the video, subscribing is great as well, and maybe we'll check out some more movies down the road.